Hello, Sharks fans! My name is Jacob Boyd, and I'll be presenting to you guys today the San Jose Sharks versus the Colorado Avalanche game review. Well, Sharks fans, this one was a tough one. As you know, the Sharks lose to the Avs by a score of 2-1 in the shootout. It is more of the same when having leads at the end of games from last year. We gave it up with a minute 36 left on the clock in the third period. In the third period for the Avs to tie it 1-1 in regulation and to lose it in the shootout by a 1-0 margin. Another defensive shell to end the game, where it's the old adage, bend but don't break mentality by the San Jose Sharks. They kind of did this throughout the game. But personally, I hate this because the team defending is just, chasing the puck and, not really going, not man to man, but trying to win that puck battle. And they just couldn't, do it at the end. They did it for most of the game. I got to give it to the Sharks. They did play hard. But either way, you can't say enough how much or how great the Sharks effort was and how they battled tonight. As you could clearly tell, the Avs were the superior team, but it took a huge effort by Mackenzie Blackwood, the Sharks goalie. The player is just great tonight, and you could tell why the GM Mike Greer traded for him in the offseason, to try and get, a new look goaltending tandem, in with, Kakinen and Blackwood, but really had a strong performance tonight. And it really showed why Mike Greer did go out and get this guy. He put a show on for all of us Sharks fans. And, I couldn't give him enough praise tonight because he really just stood on his head. Really impressive to watch. And personally, I haven't seen a performance like that. And I don't, think, ever for Sharks fans or any other teams for that matter, or any other Sharks teams for that matter, really had an effort like this. Sure, there's maybe like goalies like Nabokov and Archers Urbe and Kelly Rudy, may have stolen some games in the past, but nothing with like a 52 shot or 52 shots on attempted and only one getting in. So 51 total saves, just remarkable by Mackenzie Blackwood. You can see here on the shot chart, Mackenzie Blackwood down at the very bottom, 51 saves, 52 shots against, and a 981 save percentage. Most of the time the Sharks were sitting around, 89% save percentage on most nights in terms of last year. So, 98% save percentage is quite incredible. Let's see here. Honestly, if it weren't for Blackwood tonight, the Sharks probably could have lost 6-1 as he just made, big save after big save. And the Sharks fans, haven't seen a goalie like I mentioned in a long time do this in a long time, where they almost single-handedly win the Sharks the game. Now, with all those saves come with defensemen in front of the net doing their job and getting to those loose pucks and clearing the front of the net. And that is what they did all night long. So I really gotta say, great job by the Sharks defensemen tonight. They really battled. And again, I haven't seen the D-men for the Sharks battle that hard for 60 minutes for the longest time. So kudos to them. And unfortunately, this one was on a losing effort, but I was really impressed by their comeback from the game against the Golden Knights, where they did not do good in front of their own net. So, yeah, moving forward, the Colorado Avalanche, you could just tell they're a fast, skilled team, that will be most likely a playoff team in my estimation. First and foremost, their skill with their top players is insane, and from watching the game, you could just tell in the offensive zone they just have that deking ability to get around people. They have the offensive awareness to make the right plays at, most times skating with the puck. They get it to the right player in the offensive zone at the right time to make a play or just to keep possession in the zone. And it's really hard to win the puck back if you're the Sharks defenseman, if they are just making right play after right play. But you could really see how cohesive, their forward group with their defensive group are. And you could tell that they, 2 years ago, why they won a Stanley Cup. It's because of this core group of players that the Avalanche have. Maybe just adding a few pieces like Jonathan Drouin this year. Could put them over the edge to make the playoff, to make the a deep run into the playoffs this coming year. But we shall see. It also helps that their other attribute is speed, right? Man, they have the speed to forecheck super effectively, and they steal pucks because of it. And it just makes the Sharks puck carriers hurry their passes and make errant passes that create turnovers in the Sharks' half of the ice. Even with all this noticeable as it was, the Sharks did hustle, and their determination tonight was to clear those loose pucks in front of the net, and not let the Abs have multiple prime opportunities and scoring opportunities in those areas. So it was a good job by the Sharks tonight in front of their net, even though when they did make those mistakes or let those loose rebounds, Mackenzie Blackwood was there to, save the day basically, and do, keep the Sharks really with the lead for the first period. Or I mean, throughout the game, I should say. But yeah, getting into the first period, the Avs came out jumping for the first 7 minutes of this game. I thought it was basically an Avalanche onslaught, and they had basically 10 shots in 7 minutes. You never want to see that, number be a shot a minute in terms of, especially to start the game in an NHL hockey game. But Blackwood was, on his A game, like I've been mentioning. He really got into a groove early and made every big save the Sharks needed, and kept us in it. It also allowed the Sharks to, strike first, really, in the first period, middle of the first period, where the Sharks got a point shot from the defenseman through on net, and Thomas Bordeleau was able to get a deflection through the Avs netminder for his first NHL goal of his career. It was a really solid effort by Bordelot tonight, both offensively and defensively, as I thought he was a lot better than last game. I know he did take that penalty, in the overtime with about 30 seconds left, and it was kind of a fly-by shit. Penalty, but he made a good defensive play earlier on in that shift, which allowed him to steal the puck and go the other way. But yeah, other than that, after the first period, they took the lead with a 1-0 lead into the first intermission. In the second period, I felt that the Sharks and Avs both had chances, but the main play was still in the Sharks' end of the ice. Although I did think the Sharks were chipping the puck, out of their own zone, and not playing with the puck and losing, it for bad turnovers in that defensive, zone or in the neutral zone. So it was, a night and day difference in terms of, chip the puck out and live another day mentality. And, with that, the Sharks were able to hold the lead with a 1-0 lead after the end of two periods. In the third period, you've seen the Avs really push on the gas and we're trying to throw the kitchen sink at Mackenzie Blackwood and the Sharks. But, Blackwood stood tall and basically stood on his head, really. Came up with huge saves from multiple scoring chances by the Avs. And the Sharks D really cleared the front of the net well, in this period. They went into, a bend but don't break mentality for, most of the game for that matter, but really in the third period. Um, and they just chip pucks out just to get line changes and really no offensive zone pressure. Now, as I already mentioned, the Avs tied the game with a minute 36 remaining in the final frame, where Cale Makar shot a hard shot from the point through traffic, where Blackwood was, screened by multiple defenders, including Nishkinen, who had a great game, by the way, for the Avs, and it found the back of the net to tie the game 1-1. It was really unfortunate because Makar shot it from mostly the middle of the ice near the blue line, as there were, tired defenders who got caught, out way too long on their shift and they needed a line change. Yet Makar was able to keep the puck in the zone and he used his great skating ability to travel from, the left half wall near the blue line to the center ice on the blue line, and he just got a nice hard wrist shot on goal, and it went through a ton of bodies, and Blackwood just never saw the puck, and it became a goal, and they tied it with 1-1. But that made it go into OT, and the Sharks got a power play in the OT, but really did nothing with it. And the Sharks power play looked, terrible all game, to be honest. It seemed as if they, go into an umbrella shape where there's 1 point guy with two guys on the left and right. Well, one guy on the left and one guy on the right side, with two players down low. One player really being that guy to screen the goalie and one guy being a bumper player. It depends on what side of the ice the puck goes to, and they kind of interchange wherever that goes. But that didn't really amount to anything because of, high turnovers, where, I thought Duclair had a couple bad passes to the point guy. I thought the point guy didn't make the right reads on shooting it on net when he had the pass, across. Just multiple bad, decisions on the power play left it, a half-hearted power play and really got no chances from it. With about 30 seconds left in the game, Thomas Borderlow, like I said, uh, not drew a penalty, but took a penalty. And the Avs player kind of went right by Bordelot and got a nice shot on net. But again, Blackwood made a pad save to save the game with about 30 seconds left in OT. But that was the end, basically, because the Avs really didn't get, another great scoring chance on that power play with 30 seconds left. So then it went into overtime, tied 1-1. The Sharks then missed all three of their opportunities, and the Avs capitalized on their second opportunity from their star, Mikko Rantanen, and they took the game by a final score of 2-1. This means that the Sharks, after 2 games, are now 0-1-1, meaning no wins, one regulation loss, and one now shootout loss, and have 1 point in the standings. Overall, the Sharks did play, a whole lot better than the game against the Golden Knights. So Sharks fans should be happy with their effort. Also, wanted to mention that this was, just one game from Mackenzie Blackwood, but he did look like a goalie that wants this starting spot. Sharks fans, let's see if he can continue this great goaltending, as I think Sharks fans have, longed for a better goaltending, or just better goaltending in general for some time now. But yeah, that's going to be it for me, Sharks fans. This was your Sharks versus Avs game review. I'll be doing a bit on the San Jose Barracuda tomorrow. So stay tuned for that, Sharks fans, if you want to hear that content. If you like this content, please subscribe. It will help me with, my new postings and maybe having some editing done by a good friend of mine. And if you guys want to stay tuned for that, that would be great. But I appreciate you guys stopping by, Sharks fans. Peace.